Greetings Earthlings and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a Segway tour of Savannah, Georgia. Come along, won't you? All right, y'all. Here we are on our way to Savannah. And as fate would have it, I would say we had extremely bad luck, but apparently not as bad as the dead body they found in the water alongside of the route into Savannah. So traffic is being turned around, rerouted. We were sent down a road to the left, assuming it was a detour for the lane closure, not aware of the fact that they had found a dead body. And this guy's saying turn around. So I don't really know. Pretty much we're stuck in a perpetual traffic jam. Apparently looks like the road that we're on now, everybody's turning around and going back the other way. So I don't. The GPS said it's a 15-minute slowdown ahead, but it looks like nobody's willing to wait the 15 minutes. I don't know. At any rate, apparently one of the construction workers told us that they had found a dead body in the water, and that was the reason for the mass confusion. And now I don't know what the reason is for this mass confusion where everybody's turning around, but guess I'll find out soon enough. But fortunately I have a little bit of time before we have to be to our appointment in Savannah, so we shall see. Now there's tractor trailers turning around and pickup trucks turning around, and I'm gonna continue on in the same direction until I get to a point where I have to turn around, I guess, because the GPS is telling me that this is a valid route. So anyway, we'll keep you updated. Stay with us. Okay, we made it to our appointment on time. We are going to take the Segway tour from a company called Tours in Motion in Savannah. I Googled, before we went to Savannah, I Googled Segway tours in Savannah, and they have two options. Tours in Motion is the better option in my opinion. It's a 1-hour tour at $55 per person, and the alternative was a 45-minute tour at $75 per person. So to me, this was the way to go, and as it turns out, it's a very good tour. We had a blast, although there are a lot of microphone issues that we didn't get worked out through the course of the tour. The guide has a microphone that allows him to talk to the riders behind him as we're going through the street and pointing out different things that of interest. So most of that we didn't, or well, I say we. I think it was we, because most of it was involving his transmitter, but we were unable to hear him through most of the tour, except when we stopped. When we stopped, we were able to hear him quite well, and I'll include the audio of that at each time that we stop. But I'm going to kind of voice over the rest of the tour. So at this point right now, we're getting Tess acclimated to the Segway again, reacclimated, I should say. We've done Segway tours a couple times, but she's not feeling real comfortable with the Segway again. So we got to get her back to professional level, as she likes to consider herself, once she gets the hang of it. So that's what we're doing right now. He's just working with her to get her to where she's got a comfort level that's acceptable, and and now he's fussing at me, telling me to get back out of the way so he can put her through some paces. So he's sending me back to to the bike lane behind us. It's a little bit it's a little bit interesting to be riding down the middle of the road. The bike paths in Savannah are in the middle. They're parking on the right, traffic on the left, and the bike lanes are in the middle, and the bike lanes are very wide. So although on the Segway tours, if you fail to stay in a straight line, they will give you $100 ticket. As we were advised, there are people that traffic enforcement officers that walk through the city all the time and have their tickets ready in their pockets, and we'll see them along the way. So, as you can see, a lot of the streets through Savannah are very beautiful, picturesque streets. A lot of tree canopies hanging over the streets, beautiful historic oak trees, a lot of historic homes. There's, I guess, the guide told us that Savannah was the oldest established city in Georgia, so that was pretty interesting. Some of the stuff that you learn along the way is pretty cool. We will get to a point in the tour that we will see. I think my camera probably failed. Either the battery ran low or it got hot and cut off through the period of probably the most interesting thing along the way, or a couple of them actually. We get to the park where the Forrest Gump was sitting on the bench with the lady, and he had that famous line, "Life is like a box of chocolates." That bench has been removed from the square where it was originally at during the filming of the movie, and it's been put at a different location so it can be viewed by visitors in a museum setting. But the park and the square is still here, so that's pretty neat. So you hear
that is the weed house.
You hear a lot of laughing from me in the background, and that's because every once in a while his microphone will kick in and he'll say something interesting. Like, I think there was some reference.
Good place.
I think the smell of marijuana was wafting through the air as we went by that large house that we refer to as the weed house.
Lady, you're going to make a left-hand turn on a one-way street? I seriously doubt it. Past that sign, get over there, right over there. See them little spots are right there. Cool. All right, just gonna hang out here for just a little bit. We're gonna talk about some stuff. Turn your Segway towards me, please. Thank you so much. All right, so when did you guys get here?
Sunday.
Sunday. So you've
Well-
been out and about.
Well, we got the Yamasee in Sunday. We just got we got here today. Yamasee.
What are you doing over there?
Camping.
Oh, you're camping.
Yeah.
Oh, you got
Yeah.
We're full-time.
and a coach, yeah.
Yeah.
We're camping. Yeah, sure. Yeah. It's a house on wheels. That's not really camping.
Yeah.
But that's good. The Yamasee, I live on Hilton Head Island. We have a couple really cool motor coach lots there for you. All right, so a couple of the most obvious aesthetics about the city are going to be the squares. Any idea how many squares are in Savannah?
Oh God, a lot.
A lot. There are currently 22 squares in Savannah. At one point there were 24. The fact that 2 are missing has nothing to do with what you would call progress, because the city does not like progress. They don't like change. The city has been about preservation and restoration from the very beginning. So remember those 2 words. All right, so the idea for the squares came about in the early 1700s in England. King George of England, young king by the way, 26 years old, King George II, found out that he actually had a horrible hellhole that he kept reserved for people who were the absolute scourge of the earth, the worst of the worst. I'm talking about murderers and robbers. No, I'm not talking about murderers and robbers. I'm talking about people who could not pay their taxes. I'm talking about low-life
And
people,
dirty rascals.
the worst of the worst. So he had this hellhole known as debtor's prison. Now, a general in his army by the name of James Oglethorpe, and you might have seen his name around town, found out that a friend of his had fallen behind on his taxes, got thrown into this debtor's prison where he died. Now, when Oglethorpe got an opportunity to tour the prison and see the conditions his buddy was exposed to, he was absolutely appalled, shocked and appalled at the conditions that his pal was exposed to. Now, he had access to the king. He was kind of a mentor to the king. So he went to the king to express his concerns, happened to catch the king on a good day, and the king says, "Okay, Jimmy, tell me what you want me to do." And obviously I'm paraphrasing because I don't think the king of England called James Oglethorpe Jimmy, but he might have, so just play along. And Oglethorpe says, "Well, how about if I take all 133 remaining prisoners, we'll put them on a ship, we'll sail to America, and we'll establish a new territory in your name." King George loved the idea. Any idea what the name of the new territory?
Savannah.
No. You know?
Georgia.
Oh my
Oglethorpe.
God. Excuse me just a minute while I go talk to some smart people over here.
Oglethorpe.
Nice job. Let me tell you how that conversation usually goes. It's like they named it in King George's name. Any idea what it is?
Oh, King George.
Georgeville.
Georgia.
Well, they named it in King George's name. Georgetown. Right out the gate. This bodes well because despite any kind of language barrier, you've been here for a long time now, right? You're not just from the how long have you been in America?
Since 1996.
Yeah, you're good to go with the English, right? Good, because you're gonna have to translate for him. I need to have smart people on the tour, honey. I honestly, because the smart people are gonna get the dumb jokes. So I'm glad you're here. So he loved the idea. He put everybody on this ship called the St. Anne, and they set sail for America. Now, the whole reason I'm sharing the story is because mid-Atlantic, on the way over here, Oglethorpe had an epiphany, and he realized that he needed to create some sort of template by which this new city would be advanced. And the template consisted of a square. On each corner, there were 10 families there, 10 families there, 10 families there, and 10 families there. There are 2 lots on either side of each square, and each one of those lots was designated for commerce or for worship. And they took the same template and laid it down next to each other for the next 100 years, and that is how the city of Savannah was built. So we're going to visit 7 of the squares today. We're going to visit the squares known as the squares of lunch, because that's how the fancy people talk.
Yeah.
So you know, you're kind of fancy. So I do need to talk about the flora and the fauna. We're going to see some amazing trees. The majority of trees we see on our tour today are going to be ancient oaks, which means they're in the 250, 300-year-old range. These, however, are not ancient oaks. These are known as heritage oaks because shortly after Oglethorpe founded Savannah, people started to die. Okay, people were dropping dead like flies. They couldn't figure out what the problem was, and then one guy had the answer. He said, "Hey, it's the trees!" And so they cut down all the trees. And it wasn't the trees.
Black plague.
Mosquitoes, almost typhus and malaria,
Yeah.
and putting everybody in the ground. So they had to regrow all these trees. Now these trees are actually host to a couple different flora and fauna, and my favorite is this stuff right here. You see this dried up, crumpled up looking ramen stain on that?
Yeah.
If it rains today and we come back same time tomorrow, it don't look like that. It's going to be this beautiful, bright, vibrant green fern known as resurrection fern. It's phenomenal. And after the rain subsides, it recedes, it becomes dormant, it shrivels up and shrinks up until the next rain, and then it blooms again.
So it's not dead yet.
It's not dead at all.
Where-
It's dormant.
Where can you find
It's the stuff in the campground that you was asking about.
where can you find orchids?
Flower shop.
No, I mean by the tree.
They grow wild. It's an orchid field here. I'm doubting there's an orchid field for you to pick beautiful orchids in. Let's talk a little bit about Spanish moss for a second, okay? I'm sure you've seen Spanish moss, right?
Yep.
Spanish moss hanging from the trees. Here's the thing. Spanish moss grows, scoot over there. Spanish moss grows where it blows, which means anytime it grows where it blows, so it means it moves from tree to tree with the wind. Okay, Spanish moss blows from tree to tree with the wind. It's not parasitic. It takes its nutrients out of the air so it doesn't damage the tree, obviously. And Spanish moss is not even actually a moss.
It's a pubic hair.
It's a pubic hair is correct. It's. I'll tell you what. You don't want to put those anywhere near your pubic hairs. It's a joke around. I'll tell you why. And just
Please.
Spanish moss. It's not even moss. It's a cousin to the plant. It's a cousin to the plant. Matter of fact, put some on my pizza. Absolutely sucked. Do not encourage you to do that at all. Spanish moss is bad news. It's called Spanish moss because it's intended to be derogatory. Back then, the conquistadors were attacking us from the St. Augustine and Jacksonville area, and they had these long, scraggly-looking beards, right? So they'd come up and blow something up. We'd go, "Oh yeah, dude. Well, your beard looks like that stuff." So,
It's
right, they're
good
gonna
for
come
the
up.
orchids.
That's what's gonna stop them from blowing stuff up. I'm gonna say, be mean to them and hurt their feelings, and they'll stop hurting us. Didn't work like that. Spanish moss was used to stuff mattresses and pillows with back in the day. What's wrong with that idea?
Bed bugs and fleas.
Goddamn right, man. Chiggers, specifically, bad news.
Oh, yeah.
That's where the phrase "don't let the bed bugs bite" comes from. You ever heard that phrase before?
No.
It's a very, very common phrase. It's a colloquialism. There's another one called a dead ringer. You ever heard of a dead ringer?
No. Can I get out? I think I got a mosquito bite on my leg.
Oh, no. What are you going to do about it?
I want to get out.
You want to get out?
Yeah.
She wanna get- Yes.
Can you hold me so I won't move?
Hold me. Yeah. You want to spray it? Oh, you want to scratch, but you don't want to spray it? Oh, I see how it is.
That don't work on me anyway.
What does it?
That spray.
What is that?
He kept biting me, but the mosquito kept biting me.
I'm saying, you spray this on your leg, he's not going to bite your leg.
No, but the mosquitoes, it don't slow the mosquitoes down at all.
Delicious, that's why. Tastes like chicken.
Yeah.
Get over there. You're not supposed to be blocking this sign. So, Spanish moss, where were we talking about Spanish moss? Anytime you see that in a movie or a TV show or a commercial, and it doesn't matter if they tell you the movie's filmed in Alabama or takes place in Mississippi, shot right here in Savannah. This is the Hollywood of the South, thanks to a guy by the name of Burt Reynolds. You know who Burt Reynolds is?
Yep.
Shot a movie here in Savannah known as Deliverance.
Yep.
Yep. And when he did that, he lobbied the movie makers and the legislatures to create tax incentives and other financial motivations for people to come here and shoot their movies. Matter of fact, I was watching something a couple weeks ago, and whatever was going on, I wasn't really watching. I was on my phone doing TikToks, whatever. What was going on on TV? Dude got into a fight with his girlfriend, right? In a fit of rage, she snatched the cell phone out of this lady's hand and chucked it out the car window, right?
Windows.
And happened to look up the TV right when she walked past it, and she picked her damn phone up from right there.
Yeah.
Right there, yeah, and the camera pulls back like this, and it says Pulaski Square, and I go, shit, I know right where the hell that is. And it's not New Haven, Connecticut, that's for sure. You ever heard that name before, Pulaski?
Lost you again.
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Roman Polanski. No, that's Polanski.
Yeah, that's Polanski. We'll take that as a no. Kazimierz Pulaski was an American war hero. He's actually a Polish exile. We're going to talk about him a little bit later because this is his square. However, his monument is 7 blocks away. None of the squares in Savannah are named for what is monumentalized in the square. Matter of fact, this is the only square that doesn't have a monument. Now, the reason none of the squares are named for what is monumentalized in the square is because historically, Savannah, Georgia has done a fantastic job of mixing up people's remains. If you died in Savannah, Georgia in the 1800s, you're not resting in peace, you're resting in pieces. Yeah, buddy, because your arm and your leg's over there, and your knee and your scapula's over there, and your headstone's over there. Again, that's one of the primary reasons why there's so much spiritual unrest in the city. Y'all know it's a ghost town, right?
Yep.
Okay, this ain't Scooby-Doo ghost town, this is the real damn deal. Another reason, because we used to put people in the ground while they're still alive.
Oh, Saved by the Bell.
Jim died. No, Jim didn't die. Jim went into a coma because he got malaria and he overheated. Well, they put him in a pine box anyways, dropped him in a hole and covered him up. At one point they heard, what? How'd they fix that problem?
Saved by the Bell.
What happened? What did it tell me? They run a string from the coffin up to the top of the ground, so it was attached to a bell. So if you woke up and you're in the middle in a coffin or whatever, you yank on that string, the bell starts ringing. That's where the phrase "Saved by the Bell" comes from. That's where the phrase "dead ringer" comes from, and that's where the phrase "graveyard shift" comes from. Because there had to be a dude sitting up all night going, "What? Would you?"
Still alive?
Yeah, still alive in the box.
That's why I say.
Technology has come a long way. They shoot you now before they bury you.
Well, the problem is they just didn't know what the effects of malaria and the coma and all that shit. They just didn't.
Yeah.
Just didn't know. So we're going to take off here in a little bit. One last thing about these heritage oak trees is that they're evergreen. So anytime you see an oak leaf on the ground, that means another one has already taken its place.
Oh.
Yep. Which is probably a good thing because otherwise the squirrel can see it. That's where the phrase "keeping up with the Joneses" comes from. Okay, let me tell you who didn't live on the street. When Oglethorpe first founded Savannah, he had 4 laws. Where are you going? You're in the middle of the road. I need you to be over there for me, please. Right over there. He had 4 laws here in Savannah, Georgia. No hard liquor, no beer and wine, was just fun. Okay. No slavery was allowed, which is a big deal because this was 100 years before the Emancipation Proclamation.
In the South.
But in the South, and he absolutely abhorred slavery, which does not mean it didn't happen, but it was not sanctioned. No Catholics were allowed in Savannah, Georgia, and no attorneys were allowed in Savannah, Georgia. So none of them people lived on this. Sure. But if you had money, if you had influence, this is where you were. Now about this vertical architecture, these homes were built that way for a couple of good reasons. The first one being, all right, so you say they didn't have run. That makes perfect sense to me. All right, we're just waiting for you, buddy, because I'm being thoughtful. Yeah. Yeah. Hi, how's it going? Hi, how you doing? Hello.
And on the right, we have 3 people on Segways waiting for us to pass.
It's a free ride, right?
Huh?
Free ride.
That's
No.
free ride. Come on, let's go this way.
No, that's the one I was telling you about. You can get hop on, hop off passes. Uh-oh, you got to get up in front, baby.
Okay, the building directly in front of us is known as St. John the Baptist Cathedral. Very beautiful building, very ornate and huge church, as most of the churches in Savannah are.
Inside the church to get some. It's like juice on a little cookie or something. I wasn't paying attention. My favorite part was the guy up front, right? Because this guy had like this long Darth Vader looking robe on, which I thought was pretty cool. And he was sharing his drink with people, which I thought was really damn nice. The thing was, is he was a little weird. He had like this really fancy cup, and he'd give people a sip, and then he'd like wipe it off real aggressive like, and I'm going, that's gonna hurt somebody's
You listening to
So I'm
this?
sitting there and I'm trying not to fall asleep, right? Because these benches were really hard, and the way the guy was talking was away, so super soothing. I'm just gonna sleep right here. Start passing this basket around, right? So people dropping money in envelopes. I'm thinking, cover charge, cool, I'm having fun. So I drop a 20 in, realize it's my last 20, gotta pull a couple 5s out, right? So the guy at the end of my bench giving me the stink eye. He's like, no, buddy, I'm not taking the money out, I'm just making change. Right, so I sit there for the whole hour, didn't fall asleep. Here's what I found out. It took 26 years to build this beautiful cathedral, guys. 26 years.
Wow.
It was a church for 2 years, and then it burnt to the ground.
Oh my goodness.
This beautiful cathedral was rebuilt in a year.
So what
How
happened?
does that happen?
It must have been.
happen?
They have union job on the first one.
Tell me. What happened?
Out of money.
No.
No. How come it took 27 years to build it the first time and only 1 year to build it?
Make sure it's real solid the way they build
How
it.
come it only took 1 year to rebuild it after it burnt down?
Because we got so much, what's that? Easy material now?
No.
Machine material?
No, this is a year later in the 1700s. There is an Amish phrase, and the phrase is "many hands make light work."
That's right.
Everybody in Savannah,
Yeah.
Georgia, put down what they were doing and came and worked on this church for a year and busted it out.
That's awesome. You don't see, you never get a tour like that in Philly. For some reason, they're like, it took 12 days to put these rims and tires on this car, and it only took 13 seconds to take them off.
That's funny. All right, we're gonna hang for a second. We're gonna roll. You guys doing dinner tonight or anything?
We'll probably do something. I don't know what we're going to do. We might go to Dockside.
So
Come on, let's
y'all
go
hit that like and subscribe button. Follow along. Keep it going as long as I can, but if it ends abruptly, it's because my battery died.
By the way,